What's up guys, today I'm actually using a camcorder here just to be different. So I'm not going to be using the usual DSLR or mirrorless Sony cameras, and this is a professional camcorder. This is the Sony Age-XR NX5R. Camcorder settings are a little bit more complicated for those of you who wants to use this on your actual camcorder. And today I'm going to be reviewing the Godox WEC-S Kit2, which means two people can talk on this unit here. And as always, this video here I'm going to go straight to the point. All I'm going to be doing here, without any fancy B-rolls, none of that stuff, I'm going to tell you guys everything these units can do, the entire manual, each one of these buttons, what they do and what they don't, and all the features that you should use and you should not use. So don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And the usual disclaimer, Godox sent me designer for me to test and review. I don't get paid to say anything. This video is not sponsored by Godox. They don't have any control of what I'm doing here. I can say whatever I want regardless, so just to get that out of the way. So right now you're listening to the very audio of the Godox WEC-S, and as always, you should always do a little EQ and compression, which right now you're listening to the audio equalized and compressed. And usually most devices like this, they're gonna require some EQ of some sort. Right now I think the sound is a little bit teeny for the voice. I usually like, I mean not bass, but you know what I'm saying. I like a little bit more fullness of it. So that would be an equalization type of deal, and that shouldn't be a problem. Other than that, I actually like the fact that as soon as I open this box here, everything turns on automatically, so you don't have to waste time powering anything on. You just remove the units out of here, and they are already paired and synchronized, and the power is on. So this unit that I'm reviewing right now is specifically designed for fitting proprietary hot shoe from Sony cameras, but if you are a Canon shooter or if you're a cell phone shooter, so usually this is the camera that I like shooting here because I'm a Canon shooter. Sony cameras, I actually have camcorders, but if you have a Sony or any Sony camera with the proprietary hot shoe, they are all the same. And I usually shoot with Canon cameras, especially most of the videos that I've done for at least a year or 2 years. I shoot with the Canon R3. And of course, the hot shoe on that unit on the receiver is not going to work with the proprietary Canon shoe, of course not. All you have to do is to use your mic jack right here. So from the audio jack from the receiver into here, all you need is a cable, and there you go. If you want to use this device for a cell phone, same exact thing, just make sure you have your proper adapters. So this unit can actually be used for every Sony camera, Canon camera, whatever it is that you have. As long as it has a mic input here, you're good to go. If you want to know every specification of these units, instead of me saying things here which you're going to quickly forget, I'm going to be posting on the screen here some screenshots of the specifications. So you're welcome to pause the screen anywhere and you can take a look at the stuff that you need. Now I'm pretty sure all kinds of consumers, people that are not professionals at all, they don't know anything about audio, they're going to be also purchasing these units here. So if you are one of those guys, one thing that I want you to pay attention, let me remove the microphone real quick here. See this LED glowing in green here? Make sure it is set to always green. And this unit, actually all of these units, they feature some noise reduction filter. This one here, for example, features a DNR, which is digital noise reduction. I wouldn't use that, and I wish every manufacturer they stop doing this here. So I'm gonna activate this right now. Let me put back to the speaking position here. So as soon as you press the button, the LED turns orange and it sounds like this here. So it does a fair job in filtering background audio here. So I'm going to be quiet here for a few seconds. So I'm going to be turning back on to the green, which is normal mode. I'm going to press this button here. Now the problem that I see with this built-in noise reduction feature is the same way you don't use your sharpening tools using your camera's little processor to do that, you're going to be using your post-production NLE software to do that, which does a better job, right? So the only problem that I see with this thing here is because it sounds like this here. It sounds like underwater, it's like a weird thing. It does filter the noise, but this is something that I would never use, and this is actually very easy to engage here. It's a simple tap of a button, there's no press and hold. So right now you change to green. I wish you could at least press for 5 seconds, maybe 40 seconds to make sure this thing does not turn on. So it's a simple tap, it's back on. What you want to do is to make sure you don't use that for anything critical, such as an interview. So if you're using this device for anything critical, such as a wedding, you know, micing the groom, you can actually mic the bride because this is actually very small. All you need to do is to give this to her. She can actually put right here on her bra, and the little space that they have there, this is actually awesome. Right now I'm actually looking at the Amazon on the actual Godox store from Amazon website, and I thought these units were gonna cost at least $139, which is the ballpark price usually these units cost without a recorder built in. So these units, they cost originally $129 US, and right now is on sale for $99. And the Kit 1, which includes only one transmitter, is regularly being sold at $79 and is on sale for $59. So the price is pretty nice, and to what it does, I think is a good price. So to have the maximum performance of this product, even though they claim this thing can go very far away, which I also made a test here, definitely going to be a test on the video, right? So as long as you don't go too far, you should be able to have no problems with this device, especially if you're recording something serious, such as an interview or somewhere in a courtroom, whatever videographer you are, you know, the journalistic type or whatever you do. Even in a wedding, let's say that the bride and groom, they're all the way there. So from here to there is at least 55 feet. So that will definitely not be a problem. They can be actually further away, but the thing is, as soon as somebody turns around like this here, it's gonna help to interfere or to interrupt transmission. So they advertise that these units are capable of being transmitted up to 200-meter range, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have clean audio. And I never actually bothered to even go that distance because I never needed to do that, and I also know that's not going to happen. So now is a test to go outside. I'm going to be doing a full test to show you guys the actual real test, what these devices are capable of. So let's go outside and let's check this out, what this can do. Okay, so right now I'm outside and it's actually windy a little bit here, and always don't forget to wear this little windscreen jam to actually get wind noise out of your audio. So I'm gonna do a little distance test here, and I'm gonna go around over there. Most units like this that I tested before, usually it cuts out when I'm about over there. So if you're actually doing something non-critical, it is okay to have one or two dropouts, but if you're looking for using this for a wedding, whether it is attaching to the church mic or the bride and groom, whatever you want to do, again outdoors, make sure you don't forget to wear this here. So I'm going to be actually treating this test as a critical application because I can't afford a single dropout. And if you're worried about audio dropping out, unless you're spending $700 to $3,500 on a wireless unit, this is what they do. So this one here does a pretty good job. I didn't test this yet. I'm testing with you guys first right now. So I'm gonna do a test right now. So I'm in the United States, but I'm going to be measuring this in meters. If some of you guys don't know how much a meter is, think of a yard. It's pretty much the same length as a meter, okay? So right now it's great because I have the background from the bus here interfering with the sound. You should be able to hear me crystal clear. So right now I'm going to be actually walking all the way over there, and by experience, by previously reviewing these little units here, I know the audio is going to drop around there. So I'm going to start walking here and let's see what happens. So I'm going to be turning around and measuring meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5 yards or something like that, right? Close to a meter. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meters. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 20 meters. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 30 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 40. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 50 meters. 60 meters. 70. 80 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 100. Now I'm going to go over there to block myself. Let's see if this actually cuts out the transmission. So I don't actually need to be talking much here. If you hear drop out, you're going to hear regardless if I'm talking or not, because sound is actually entering here. So there you go. You can see me now. So I'm going to come back to the camera. And it should be a lot better now because I'm not turning my body this way, right? So now I'm going to do a little jogging here to see if there's any noise this thing makes, you know, when you're running, right? So stop running. And that should conclude my test. If that doesn't drop the audio over there, I'm actually quite surprised. Let's see what happens. As you guys know, making videos like this on YouTube is time consuming to make, right? And all I'm trying to do here is to give you the maximum amount of information, so before you bought this product, you actually see everything that it can do. And if you want to use my affiliated links from Amazon and B&H, that doesn't cost you anything extra. All it does is to tell Amazon and B&H that somebody bought something from me, and I earn a tiny little commission. So thank you very much if you want to choose to buy from me. I appreciate that. Just want you guys to know that most of these products, they come with this little protective film here to avoid battery discharge, right? So make sure you remove that, otherwise it will not charge inside the case. So here's the actual case. This is an EVA material type of case here, which is very nice. It has a Godox logo in here. And here is the actual unit. And this case here opens this way. And as soon as you remove this out of here, everything is automatically powered on. So I'm gonna turn it off here so you guys can see. And I'm going to be putting it back in the case here. Then as soon as you do that, everything powers on itself. So you don't have to even press on the power or anything like that. Everything is ready to use. So this is the WEC exclusively for Sony cameras. As you can see, it has a hot shoe on the bottom here. And this is the Kit2, which means two people can talk with this unit. So left and right or in mono. On the top, you're going to find all accessories. This is the TRS cable. As you can see, this is for cell phones. And if you're using an iPhone, make sure you use the original Apple adapter for this thing to work. And here's the regular cable that connects to your camera. It has a TRS plug on each end. It has a USB-A to USB-C to charge the unit. The USB-C port is on the back here. And lastly, you have the little 3 windjam screens here for windy conditions. And here's what it looks like. To install it, you simply press it here and it doesn't go anywhere, as you can see. It's very secure in here. The reason why they include all 3 is because the receiver also has a built-in microphone for the person who is behind the camera to ask the interviewer questions and everything, which is pretty cool. You can also enable or disable this. All you have to do is to turn on this microphone, and then you have 2 people talking here plus you behind the camera. So here's the receiver. As you can see, it has also a built-in microphone, and to turn it on and turn it off, simply slide this button here. When it is set to the on position, the microphone is live, and when you switch to off, this microphone is disabled. You only hear these 2 microphones here. And here's a USB-C. I'm not sure if you can actually update firmware here, but you can also charge individually with the supplied USB-C to USB-A cable. And here's the hot shoe mount for Sony cameras. And on this side here, even if you're not using a Sony camera, you can just use the included cable to connect to the out port, and you can actually connect to the other side of the camera, and you still have the audio going through. This button here, you can actually turn on and turn off the Sony interface, and also to set the audio gain on the transmitters, you simply press minus or plus buttons. On the M here, when you press and hold, right now this is set to mono, which is in green, and then you press and hold. Now you are in stereo when it highlights in blue. So when you install this on your Sony hot shoe, this LED is going to come on, which means you are on a Sony interface. And at the bottom, obviously, is where you charge the unit. And here's the power button, which I really wish they actually made this color coded in red, because power is universally in red, so you don't have to really look for or read anything. As soon as you see something red, you know it's power. And here's the actual transmitter. There's a microphone on top, and the clip is right here. There are no magnets in here. And on this side here, you have the power button, obviously. And this is the digital noise reduction. And I guess you can also link and unlink here. As you can see, this little link thing. But the primary use for this button, you press it quickly. Notice that the light is actually green, which is in normal mode. Once you tap here, you're gonna see it changing to orange, and this also applies to the second transmitter. So when you actually tap on this button again, notice that both is gonna change to green. Tap it again, it switches to the orange. So again, noise reduction mode should be orange. Press this button quickly, switch to green, which is what you want. Everything that I'm gonna use this unit with is going to be on the green mode, which is normal audio. Now, all of these units here, the wind screen is actually absolutely necessary if you are taking this outdoors. Even if it is not windy, for precaution, always install this here. And here's the digital and analog switch. So I'm not going to be using the usual DSLR or mirrorless Sony cameras, and this is a professional camcorder. This is the Sony Age XR NX5R, and it's going to be interesting to show you guys something, because not every Sony camcorder will have the digital interface, even though the hot shoe, the built-in hot shoe here is identical, right? It's the same diagram of connections here. Another very important thing, see these little connectors here? Make sure you press the push button so you don't break anything here. So I'm going to install this receiver set to digital, and not every Sony interface is the same. So you just make sure you snap in here like this, and there's a message here saying that this accessory is not supported by the device. Not a problem, just eject here, and again press and hold this button here. So all you have to do is switch from digital to analog, and then you reinstall it here, and you will see no errors in there, no problem. And as you can see, the audio is registering. So right now I have the both transmitters just to show you here they are on and everything, and the audio is registering. And the current microphone here is set to off because I have it off in here. So if you want to turn this on along with these other two microphones, simply slide this to mic, and then you have this mic on plus these two microphones on at the same time. Now you're probably asking why would they include a microphone built in on the actual receiver. It's because it's good for the person behind the camera to ask a question for the interviewee, so it is well recorded on the camera because your mouth is right here, right? So if you don't want this on, just switch it off. Now on the other side of this receiver, as I showed you before, there's a minus and plus buttons here. So right now I'm at the maximum gain, which means the transmitter can set it to 3 different levels. So right now I'm at the loudest, and then you actually click here, it gets lower and then lower. So in case you're clipping, you can actually reduce again and again and again. So right now I'm going to be actually turning off these 2 transmitters. And as you can see, there is no readings right here. So you can still enable this microphone here as you talk right there. And if you don't want it on again, just switch it to off. You can actually turn on the devices back again. It takes just a few seconds to start appearing on the meter there. There you go, they're on. As you can see, everything is back to normal, and this microphone is muted. Now, whether you're in mono or stereo, I recommend that you turn off one of the transmitters if you are the only person talking here. If you don't do that, you're going to capture undesired background noise when this microphone is like laying here somewhere, so turn it off. Right now, only 1 unit registers. And again, as I explained before, when you actually press the M button here, it switches to mono, green. Now the single transmitter is registering on both channels. Press the M button again, this LEDs are going to switch to blue, and you're back to stereo again. Turn on the other unit, and again you are back to stereo or mono. Press the M button again, press and hold. When it switches to green, that means you are in mono. And again, I recommend you to turn off one of the transmitters if you are the only person using the system at the moment. Another good reason why I showed a Sony camcorder instead of a mirrorless or DSLR Sony camera is because they are a little bit more complicated. For example, in order for you to successfully have the audio from the Sony interface, make sure you set to the AMI shoe interface here. So here you have the separate left channel and the right channel. And make sure you adjust your gain properly on whatever camera that you have. I would say most people that would buy this type of products here, they're not audio savvy people. So if you are clipping or distorting your audio, make sure you adjust again on the actual receiver first, because if the sound already leaves distorted from these units or this unit, it doesn't matter what you do here and again. It matters how it originates out of this unit first. So again, set the gain on your receiver first, and then you come here and adjust the audio levels. Another thing that you should not do is to have your stuff on auto. Never do that, especially for audio. Set it to manual, and you can actually have separate channels from left and right here. When I was doing the unboxing, or the part that the camera was shooting down, showing you guys the units in my hand, the audio that you heard from is from the Godox Verso, and they also make a unit also designed for Sony's hot shoe. And this unit also features a recorder. I really wish this unit has a recorder, but this is going to be a lot more expensive than this here. But regardless, I always like a recording feature because the audio is always cleaner. Every time you use the wireless, the audio has to be compressed and then decompressed and does all kinds of things because things are in the air here. With the recorder, you have no air transmissions. Everything cleanly recorded from a recorder. These microphones, they are omnidirectional. If you don't know what that is, it means it has the ability to capture your sound, your voice, or whatever, about 360 degrees. So I'm actually rotating the microphone away from my mouth, then back to my mouth here. A unidirectional microphone, if you do that, you start to lose the audio as soon as you turn the microphone as little as 30 degrees there. So the advantages of an omnidirectional system, it gives you more margin for errors, or if you're not properly pointing the microphone at the source, but try to point it at the source, right? Now, as far as having dropouts with something of this price here, honestly, I don't think I can complain too much about it because it wouldn't be fair. Now, if you want perfect audio without a single dropout, you are going to spend at least $3,000 on a Lectrosonics L series, which is what I use for weddings and everything, because I know those devices will never let me down. But again, look at the price, right? At least with the Sennheiser, they range from $460 to $700. So this is the price range you're going to be looking at if you don't want any hiccups with your device. Now this unit here, I think you can have a lot of fun on vacation or whatever, but you can still implement these units with professional use, again, as long as you're careful with the distance and how you use this unit. So one important thing to know here, this device, of course, the microphone is omnidirectional, which means anywhere you point this microphone, the audio shouldn't change much. And the sound pressure that you should speak here is a maximum of 110 decibels. So if you scream or if you laugh too loudly, you might clip the unit. And of course, this receiver, they feature gain settings. I believe there are 2 or 3 settings. All you have to do is to minimize the gain or maximizing whatever it is that you need to do to avoid clipping. I've been doing audio for a long time, and here's a big tip that a lot of people don't leave to the viewers, and I'll be happy to do that here. So first of all, before you worry about clipping or adjusting the gain levels on your camera or camcorder, first set the transmitter's proper levels, so use the gain there, so you try to shout a little bit, you laugh loud. When it sounds good and it doesn't clip, that's when you actually finally adjust on the camera's gain. But you make sure first the transmitter is the one that's actually outputting the proper audio levels, then you worry about the camera. Both the transmitter and receiver, according to the specifications in the manual, they last about 8 hours. And to charge the unit, you can actually charge them individually, or it might take a little bit more time when you actually decide to charge everything in the box, since there are going to be 3 devices being charged at once. Another thing to keep in mind, when you talk on the system this way, it sounds different because the relation between your mouth and where it is here. Now, when you talk directly to the microphone, it sounds a little bit crispier and more direct because you're talking directly to the microphone, which, by the way, I'm actually using the windscreen here that shows you guys that you don't lose a lot of highs or high frequency. So I'm going to be removing the windscreen here, and now it sounds like this. As I was installing the windscreen here, as you handle the device, it's so easy to accidentally tap on this orange button, which is gonna do that. So I don't want my audio to be recorded this way because it is impossible to remove that in post-production. So I wish this button here was at least a 10-second press and hold instead of just a tap thing and engages. So it shouldn't be this easy to activate this. Right now I'm recording in mono, but I told my camera to set both channels to the Sony interface. So on my meter right there, as you can see, I'm actually registering both channels on, right? So if you want to record in stereo, all you have to do is to press and hold the minus button right here, which is this button. So press and hold. Now it's going to become stereo. So one channel is available and the other one is off because my transmitter is off. Now, one thing to keep in mind is to pay attention. If you are the only person utilizing the system right now, like myself, for example, make sure the other transmitter is off because you don't want it to capture audio that you don't want, especially if the mic is somewhere, the unit is somewhere pointing at something, right? So right now you're listening to mono, but now both people are talking on the system here. So I'm still in mono, so here's my voice and the other voice.
Hi everybody, I'm here editing with Lightroom right now,
Okay.
So I'm helping. That's it.
Yeah, and now switching to stereo. So I'm on the left channel and she is on the right channel. So what are you doing again?
So we're reviewing the Godox WEC-S Kit 1.
2. Sometimes in my studio I teach customers here some workshops how to film like a pro with the iPhone. I teach them the ninja walk with the bending on the knees and the, the way you walk and everything, right? But anyway, so this is an iPhone 13 Pro Max. It does require a Lightning port adapter. Make sure it is the original Apple, otherwise you're going to have problems because they never work well other than the actual Apple brand. And also the same thing for the 15 Pro Max. If you have a USB-C adapter, make sure it is the original from Apple. And as you can see here, I'm using the cable that has a gray plug here. This is the one that actually fits this particular setup here, at least with the Lightning port. And most importantly, to set the gain here on the receiver, on this minus button right here, make sure you actually click this several times to make sure you're as low as possible on your gain. And then you adjust your gain on your app, which in my case here, I'm using the Filmic Pro, which is a professional app. But even if you're using the regular built-in camera app on your iPhone or whatever, the only difference with the built-in app is because there's no way to see the audio level meters here, nor can you adjust the gain. So you gotta either speak like normal or, do something else. In my case here, I can actually just lower the gain, as you can see here, and good to go. One thing that actually blows my mind with the latest iOS, as of 2024, Apple still believes that having an audio meter or the ability to adjust the audio is not important. So that's the end of my review. I hope you found the contents helpful. If you want to subscribe to this channel, it helps the channel a lot, especially the algorithms. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section. I'll respond to everything that I see there. So once again, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you next time.